And I'm getting a little bit political for this live stream. Just my little couch. But anyway, okay, because guess what I have learned recently that I had no idea about? None whatsoever. Turns out that technically I'm not an Australian. Technically, people are trying to say I'm an immigrant. Now, I understand there's a whole hi PLM to you. Thanks for saying that. Thanks for joining. So I'm getting political. Hi Nova, how are you? I'm going to get a little bit political. Because first of all, let me just say straight out, I'm all for refugees in different countries. So I guess I'm a bleeding heart. I don't care. I don't even understand what that means, but I do. Okay, so anyway, I'm all for refugees coming to any country that needs it. Also, I live in Australia. We are a country that is built on immigrants. So I'm pretty sure in the 70s, we were even crying out to get people over here so much that we were offering £10 shipping fee, like shipping tickets, so people would come over here and work. Anyway, as anyone who has been watching my channel will understand, I am a very proud Australian. I'm actually just going to put this in my little, I'm rotating my device, yep. Okay, is that still going? Okay, all right. For some reason, rotating my device is not working. So I wonder if I can do this with this. Okay, I got a new little thing. Anyway, it doesn't work. Oh, it does work, but why can't I rotate my, okay, anyway, no, getting back to what I wanted to talk about. Anyway, so maybe, hi Lisa Aki, how are you? Welcome to my live stream about immigrants and the fact that technically I'm now, could be by some people, not considered an Australian. So a year or so ago, anyway, a lot of politicians got into trouble because they were considered having, not being just Australian citizens, having a dual citizenship. Okay, so fair enough, whatever. But then I realised my biological dad was born in Scotland. So what they were saying was there was a lot of Australians who had been born here, a lot of people like me, obviously, that had not realised we had a dual citizenship with other countries. So some countries had actually technically given us dual citizenship without people like me even knowing. So I was born in this country. I was bred in this country. I have a pink Australian flag. I have a pink Akubra hat. I'm a bogan. I'm a proud, proud, proud bogan. And now when I listen to people on Facebook or in comment sections and stuff like that, I'm seriously going to try and do this. Why won't that work? All right, I feel like this is not going to work. And all I want to do is rotate it. Maybe I can get this on here anyway. No. What a shame. Anyway, I really feel like I need to put this up. Anywho, I feel like, okay, I've been told I do not hold my phone steady. Okay, so now I'm just going to talk. So thanks for everyone for joining. So it turns out when you listen to people on Facebook and their comments and stuff, there are people out there saying, so if they see somebody that looks Middle Eastern, just going to say it, or has darker skin or has whatever, right? Hi, Shannon Miller, and thanks for that, Lisa Arkle. Okay, so what I'm noticing on Facebook, so say somebody makes a crime in another country, you watch 90% of those comments will say, go back to your country, they should send them home. Then you find out that those people were actually born in Australia. But because they have a different coloured skin or are more obvious from Middle Eastern countries or whatever, because I'm not an expert on different races, so don't want to sound racist. Hi, Lucky Rocky. Thanks for joining. So what has happened to me is I've started to realise that, of course, a lot of these people are second generation, third generation immigrants. But guess what? Look how white I am, and I've spent my whole life believing I'm a white Australian. And guess what? My biological dad was born in Scotland. That actually makes me a first generation Australian. That means that for a lot of people, I am an immigrant. So during World War II, and a lot of people don't know this, when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor in America, what they did was they sort of organised these sort of like, concentration camps. Sorry, my dogs are barking. I always bark when I go live. Anyway, sorry. Hi, Mad Dogs. Thanks for joining my controversial live stream. Anyway, I'm literally quite annoyed because, anyway, like I was saying, so in America during World War II, Japan, oh gosh, I feel like the postie must be here. No, look, I have a screen, so someone's just walking past and putting something in my letterbox. Anyway, so what Japan did when what America did when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, they set up these concentration camps, and they put not only people from Japan in these concentration camps, they took all the first, second, third generation Japanese people and put them in concentration camps. So then when I see people on Facebook from America or Australia talking about people who have done crimes or have done whatever, and they're first, second, third generation from their country, but they are technically Australians, what they're all saying is if you don't believe they are Australian, gone live to do this. Gucci, just stop. Anyway, that means that technically people do not believe that I'm an Australian. How is that even possible? Okay, because I have a pink Australian flag. I wear a pink Cuba hat. Look. I am a bogan. I am Australian. I was born in this country. It doesn't matter where my parents were born, where my bloodline comes from. I was born in this country. So if your parents are Lebanese and all of that, or from Middle Eastern countries, Saudi Arabia, whatever, if you're born in this country, you're an Australian to me. What I actually find really, really funny about how people feel about immigrants. So in the 70s, people we need to bring well, first of all, let's be honest. Australia is a convict country. Hi, Angie3, how are you? So Australia is a convict country, isn't it? So we all come from criminals from England. Anyway, then, like I said, in the 60s and 70s, we were crying out for immigrants to support our country. In South Australia, we even have something called the Cornish pasty, Cornish pasty, thanks to all the German immigrants that come to South Australia. But but what I always find sort of the funniest about it all, hi Roman Zahid, how are you? Is that in the 70s, people, would it have been the 70s? Yeah, anyway, when the Asians first came to Australia, anyway, I say Asians loosely, we had Chinese people here from the Eureka Stockade. So if you want to do Australian history, we had Asian people from China here as soon as English people were here. So there's really no immigrants in Australia. Everyone is an immigrant in Australia unless you're an Aboriginal. Let me make that point clear. Of course, I support Aboriginal rights and the fact that they were our first people and the rest of us are immigrants. But what I'm getting annoyed about is the fact that if I had a different coloured skin, I would be considered an immigrant, even if I was a first, second, third generation Australian. But because my biological dad came from Scotland, so my skin is white, when I walk around, people are like, well, you're an Australian. Yes, I was born in Australia. I'm an Australian. But I learned at 42 that I have a dual citizenship. And so technically I have a Scottish and Australian citizenship. That must make me a first generation Australian. So how is that any different? But yes, I remember when Asians came and they were going to take over Australia and, oh gosh, they were going to do some awful things, weren't they? And then the Italians came and, of course, Australia just as scared. They were going to bring the mafia and all that stuff and definitely ruin our streets and take all our money. So every few years there's another scare tactic. But when I was about 25, I remember listening to a young lad, and he was a first generation Italian, and he was talking about all these immigrants and refugees and immigrants and how they're going to take over our country. And I just really started laughing because I was like, that was really ironic, because I was like, when your dad first came over to Australia, everybody said him and you were going to take over Australia and you were going to ruin our country. So I found it very ironic to hear a first generation Australian talk badly about immigrants. I think that's something really funny in Australia, that if we actually went and had a look at our heritage, many of us would be very shocked to discover and really think about the fact that we are first generation, second generation or third generation Australians from some country. If you can tell me you are a fourth generation Australian, in other words, that you did not have anyone in your heritage come from another country in your 4 generations, I'd be really shocked. I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure there were some convicts here from the beginning that only had their own bloodline. But let's be honest, I feel like if most people looked at their heritage, they have a mum, a dad, grandparents or great-grandparents or people that have married into their family that have come from other countries. So yes, to all those people that don't want to call me an Australian, which I've just discovered, literally, if you are going to sit there and write on Facebook, send them back to their country. They don't deserve to be here. Blah, 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 they're not Australian. Guess what? You are talking about me. You are saying I don't deserve to be in this country. I shouldn't be here. If I do anything wrong, that I should be sent back to Scotland even though I was born in this country and I am an Australian. So crazy times when people are starting to say who and who is not actually an Australian. Because, yeah, how awful to find out that, yeah, people do not believe me and many others are Australian. So maybe go and have a look at your own heritage. Thanks, everyone, for listening.